I think she's kind of torching whatever remains of her reputation. She never got that big gig.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with magazine editor David Mark. And David, we're very excited to talk about Karine Jean-Pierre's new forthcoming book about her time in the Biden administration. It has made her former colleagues so angry. Why is that?
Well, from what we know about it, it doesn't come out for a few months yet, but it sounds like she's left the Democratic Party. She's become an independent, and she seems to be kind of like defending Biden and what he did in office, even when it was clear in the latter part of his term, maybe in the earlier part, that he wasn't all there, that he was showing his age, that these problems were up there. For whatever reason, she really rubs the wrong way her former colleagues, and they are not holding back on her.
So we were just talking about this off camera, but she is obviously not the first, former spokesperson to emerge from an administration that failed and try to sort of rehabilitate her image by breaking from it. I'm thinking of Stephanie Grisham from the Trump administration, Alyssa Farah-Griffin, who's now co-host of The View, which was apparently KJP's dream job, didn't quite land it. But when they did it, the media portrayed them as being sort of brave and independent, and when that's literally what KJP is trying to do, the media narrative is all about like her betrayal and her grift, when this is a pretty like traditional path for former aides, right?
Yeah, and she was dealt a pretty bad hand in the Biden administration. Mm-hmm. I just remember the day after that debate with Trump coming up on a year ago now, when I think her line of the day was, President Biden had a bad night.
Oh
and
my
she
gosh,
just
that's
kept
right. He had a
saying
cold.
it. Yeah, repeatedly. And it didn't even really sound like she believed it very much. Mm-hmm. Like you can tell when somebody's saying something with sincerity. You listen to enough of these press flacks and when they're just going through the rote motion there. So I think she's kind of torching whatever remains of her reputation. She never got that big gig. I always thought she was a bit of a odd choice for this job there, especially after the tragedy of October 7th, when you had another briefer there, former Pentagon spokesman John Kirby, who was a retired Navy admiral. He's a square-jaw military guy. He knew how to deliver a message. When he got hostile questions, he would just push them back. He was really good at that. You might agree or not with what he was saying, but he had command of the room in the way that she just never did.
So I guess that brings me to my next question. You're talking about her torching what's left of her credibility. Should there be any professional future for the aides that were involved in the cover-up? Because, when you look back at January 6th or the Stop the Steal conspiracy theories, right? None of the people who were deeply involved in that were ever welcomed back into professional politics in Washington. They probably never will be. Most of them had their lives ruined. These Biden aides, are they going to sort of face the same professional repercussions for an equal, or some might say bigger, transgression against the American people?
That's a great point, because there's a relatively small group of them, having read like Original Sin, one of the books about Biden's illness. It's people who had been with Biden for decades and were probably not too much younger than him, actually, like Steve Ricchetti, Mike Donnellan. I don't know their precise ages offhand, but they've got to be well into their 70s at this point, because they go back with Biden to like the 1980s or so. A few others who are more on the youngerish side. I don't think they're going to have a great future in Democratic politics at this point. To me, a bigger question and this goes a little bit beyond Karine Jean-Pierre, is the potential 2028 candidates who worked with Biden, like Pete Buttigieg, who is transportation secretary in that administration, and a couple of the others who had relatively close or direct ties to Biden as well. We will see in the coming years.
Well, that's a good point. Let's end it on this question. Can Pete Buttigieg or whoever else ever outrun the specter of this mental health cover-up of Joe Biden?
I think they would have to make a clear declaration that he's in the past and basically admit some kind of wrongdoing. Say, yep, I should have seen it. I should have spoken up. We can't have him anymore. I made a mistake. Whether that would be effective and would work or not, open question.
Well, David, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
You can get more from David and the rest of the political team at washingtonexaminer.com.